That's new.
Good stuff.
We figured it out.
New location?
New location, the alternative location, the Rusty Putter 2.0.
The coffee bar.
Yeah. Sit down, have a drink, get ready for your 8 o'clock round or 9 o'clock round.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not bad. You guys are on this nice little couch here. It's not a black one, so we don't got to ask too many questions.
Having coffee. Yeah, Serena's gonna make us coffee.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. Make sure it's a good thing.
At the coffee bar.
Oh, we're talking about more.
You guys got that is quite the. What do you got? Like 3 coffee makers?
There's a lot of coffee. Some people like espresso. There's different. You can do like a espresso shake.
A little espresso.
You're getting espresso.
No, I just want whatever Nespresso. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do we got on the board today?
We got all kinds of fun stuff, but actually, we could talk real quick about about coffee.
Okay.
And consumers. We've been talking about budgeting a lot lately, right?
Yes.
So one of the things I figured to carve out some money in my budget was buying a coffee maker, making coffee at home. I went through a customer's bank statements yesterday. All right. Do you want to? I don't even really say do you want to. You guys don't want to know.
No, I don't want to.
I'll give under borrower a single dude what his monthly coffee spend was at Starbucks.
All right, monthly coffee. If he goes there twice a day, he's spending $20 a day, 5 days a week. Holy cow! It's got to be over $1,000.
What?
200.
$485.
Oh my God!
A month in coffee, like in Starbucks.
A month.
I mean,
So
I guess you
got
could
to
be
going. You got to be going at least twice a day.
Have you gone to Starbucks lately?
It is $10 for a coffee.
Hey,
A normal coffee.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild too. So a couple weeks, I don't know, it was maybe a few months ago, we did that whole side by side of Hooters and ordering your wings from Grubhub versus ordering from here. So why Starbucks is in the news right now is Chipotle's CEO got poached. He's going to Starbucks. Starbucks revamping their app because they figured one of their biggest problems was not being able to set up like your pickup time or your order time. Chipotle, conveniently, you can hit, you want to order a burrito bowl, you can pick what time you pick it up.
You could order at 6 a.m. and be like, I'll be there at 11:30.
Yeah, and it helps manage the flow. Well, Starbucks, one of the complaints is everyone's sitting there at the counter just going like this, waiting for their little caffeine fix. But all of a sudden, right, we have another instance of a company that has a large presence and fighting for those dollars in your pocket. Now revamp their app. Now you're hit Apple Pay. Now you're putting that credit card or that $480 on a credit card because it's just super convenient. And now coffee's eroding your savings.
Mm-hmm. Coffee, but fill in the blank. Could be anything, right? Could be DraftKings. Could be greens fees.
Yeah, don't get rid of all our fun here.
Yeah, I mean, I love but you can't have DraftKings you can't make DraftKings at home.
No.
Honestly,
you could bet with your buddies, but it's just less fun.
It is way less fun. And it's harder to collect sometimes too.
And then you're taking your friend's money.
But I think one of the things we're actually going to lead into beyond that today is Fantasyland on the opinion on what interest rates do to mortgage payments and how to hit the reset button, because I believe Nick has a couple events coming up with the band Reset.
We do.
Cool.
So talk to us about, before we worry about resetting everything else, talk to us about Reset. What do we got coming up?
The band Reset is a local band. They bring quite a crowd. It's quite a party. So we are actually, Oosting Group is sponsoring them September 7th, Grant Park Festival. September 7th, they're going to play. I mean, it's a full-on festival.
Downtown?
Grant Park, Illinois. We got downtown listeners here. But no, Grant Park, Illinois, they're going to be there September 7th. It's a Saturday, but it's a whole festival going on. So they got a full day of events, and then we're going to end that 7 to 10. They got a full yard that they're going to be playing on.
What's the genre that Reset covers?
So they say they are everything. I forgot how they say it. From Chuck Berry to Buck Cherry.
Oh,
so they're like 60s
Chuck
all
Berry
the way
to Buck Cherry,
mid 2000s. So they
crazy.
They hit every age group you can think of.
Can't sing that song.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you've seen Buck Cherry live before.
No,
I cannot say that I've done that.
They opened for
raise your hand if you've sung it out loud at that closing time, though. Like you screamed it in the bar. Yeah.
They opened for a band that I wanted to see once, and I can tell you that I've seen a lot of screwed up things in my life. I have never seen that much blow getting done off of a public bathroom toilet seat in my life.
Interesting.
I know you guys would find that hard to believe that would happen there.
Right.
I can't believe that would happen.
Everything from Chuck Berry to Buck Cherry, though, right?
Yep.
So You
That'll be
said
cool.
7 to 10.
They're about 7 to 10. They're going to be playing. So,
That's
but
a long set.
it's a long set. Yeah, they play 3 hours. They take one break in between for about 15 minutes. But full day festival going on all day long, all weekend really. Then we're ending with that. So, be a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Again, supporting community events, things that you can do to get out, and like
Yes.
I don't know how much more we can stress, like all of our businesses, all of the real estate and the ancillary supports to real estate. It comes down to supporting the communities that we serve.
Yep.
Providing a little extra entertainment, right? I mean, Grant Park, Illinois, what's the population there?
Oh, I think
1,000?
1,200 people. I think
Yeah.
I saw on the sign there. So we're looking to get that at least at the Reset concert. That's what we're hoping for. So,
1,000?
Oh, yeah,
we
we'll
got
get
some
that
people
many.
lined up.
That'd be
I'll
cool.
put 20 on
We're
the,
getting-
I got 20 on the over. Speaking of DraftKings and betting amongst
There we
friends.
go.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be a good turnout. So.
All right, and then people can find information at Realtor Nick Oosting Facebook page.
Yes, our Facebook page. We've been promoting that. Reset also has their own Facebook page. They do all kinds of stuff all over the place, and they do bring a party. They bring a lot of people to their gigs, so we're looking to combine that. Make it a good show for them. But follow their page. They do a good following with it as well. So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love that. Some positive news there, right?
hey, we love that.
I think as we talk about that, and we talk about DraftKings and like this fantasy land, right? All last week we got Fed. Jerome Powell comes out.
Yeah.
We're going to adjust policy. That's
He's
my
like
favorite. We're
teasing
going to
it.
adjust these pants. Get this policy. We're going to have the best policy.
So when they meet like mid-September, is that when September 20th or something?
Yeah. So what goes on with this? And this is a huge misconception, and I hate to just always be the negative Nelly over here on some of this stuff. The Fed funds rate is the Fed rate. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not like, it isn't just, hey, we just hit a button and everyone's mortgage rates go down, everyone's credit card rates go down. Fed funds rate is specific to the overnight lending rate amongst banks. And when they cut that rate, what it means is that banks don't get extra reserve interest or interest on their reserves. It's to encourage lending.
Right.
So that doesn't have an immediate impact on mortgage rates. And when we're talking about resetting and the fantasy and all of that stuff, and Nick kind of last night was like, hey, we should talk about rates and this whole concept of everything. People waiting for a 3% interest rate, I'll put this up later today, or a 3.5% interest rate, that's not real. So I actually went and spent an hour and a half digging through Federal Reserve charts yesterday because I got nothing better to do than look up good stats, right? If you look at the Fed's balance sheet, in particular their mortgage-backed securities holdings, immediately during the COVID pandemic, that line is like straight up.
Yeah.
And so the bigger thing that we care about here, besides Sabrina not spilling these coffees on everything,
It's like
Okay.
saying
Yes.
Holly Girl for coffee. Love it. Love
we
that.
care about the Fed when they say they're going to adjust policy. It isn't the rate cut that we care about.
What do we care about?
We care about the
Thank you.
Federal
Thank you,
Reserve
Sabrina.
moving from quantitative tightening to a neutral policy and or quantitative easing policy.
All right, so let me digest that. They're going to make money easier to get.
That is the concept of it.
So there's more liquidity out there.
Correct. So what
Okay.
the Federal Reserve did in, I want to say about June of 2022, is they came out and said that we're no longer buying mortgage-backed securities, and we are no longer we're not going to reinvest the interest and the earnings that we're getting from our current ones. We're just going to let them roll off the balance sheet.
As they get bought out and whatever.
Yeah, they
Or end or get paid
repayment
off.
streams, all of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Got it.
Well, what happened? Two things happened. One is we were winding down the largest increase of mortgage-backed security holdings the Federal Reserve has ever had by like 450%.
Okay.
So you throw all of that cash in the mortgage-backed securities market, it's going to artificially drive rates down.
Right.
Because there's all of this demand that isn't real demand. It's got like Federal Reserve demand coming into the marketplace, right? Well, they pull the plug on that. And that's why we haven't really seen interest rates for the last 2 yees. They've kind of bounced from high sevens.
It went up and then stayed.
Yeah.
It's like a
and then
plateau.
and it's crazy. If you actually look at the chart, it goes like, their mortgage-backed security, it goes like this, and then it goes like this, and it goes
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like real small steps down. And that is when they say we're going to adjust policy, what we want to watch for is if they're going to stop the balance sheet runoff. Now, interesting part I read about that is the Fed's actually 18 months behind on the balance sheet runoff because rates didn't come down as they expected. So the repayment streams on these instruments that they hold, or the prepay streams on them, haven't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or the refinances, or got it. Okay, so what does that mean?
This means two things. The biggest one is we got to get out of, like, I know it's fantasy football season. We got to get out of fantasy land on what an interest rate actually does to your mortgage payment.
Okay.
So we're gonna go. We'll go real ugly here.
Ugly.
Love it.
So $400,000 property with $20,000 down. So 5% down.
So typical like Northwest Indiana house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the difference in interest rates between 5, 5.5, 6, and 6.5. All right. So if we start with a 5% interest rate, principal and interest payments $20.40 a month. All right.
Okay.
We go to 5.5, it's $21.57 a month. All right.
Okay.
6, $22.78. 6.5, $24.01. So I mean, is there a
so from
big
5 to 6.5, we just got to stop going to Starbucks, and then we're
it's
even.
300 exactly. It's 300.
Just come to Adam Haig's Coffee Bar.
Yeah,
you get
right here.
You
Come
get
on
free coffee.
right here. You sit down.
Yeah.
You have your buyer
Sabrina serves you.
You learn some stuff.
Bring your own cream though. That's expensive.
Yeah.
And we want dairy free too. We're all lactose free.
So it's not a huge difference if people think about it.
You don't not buy your house over what is that? What is it total there? $100-something a month? Or?
And yeah, like realistically, it's $100 a month between like a 0.5% increment. So, but that 5% versus the 6.5%, 2040 versus 2401. I mean, that's a decent amount. But we also hear, right? Oh, it's going to allow all of these borrowers to qualify, or bring all these additional borrowers to the market to qualify. The difference, $100 a month on a mortgage payment, the difference in monthly income to qualify versus not qualify there, $400 a month. So
$5,000.
$5,000 a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
People buying in this price point, $5,000 a year in income is probably not the bigger impact.
What is it?
It's available funds.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest piece of the puzzle that we're running into, right? So now we're 2 weeks into this NAR settlement and this taking the most efficient real estate market in the world and turning it into a fast
Australia.
machine. And now, right, we have all of that going on. And now you have sellers that are convinced that maybe they shouldn't offer buyer agency compensation and all this other stuff. And it's just people just don't have the money. Like they don't have cash, right, Nick?
Yeah. No,
Adam, I mean, we've
run into it all the time.
Yeah, we run into it with claims. Like, no, you only got to come up. You had a $30,000 loss. We're just asking you to come up with $1,000. Well, I don't have it. Well, that's a problem. So, emergency funds. It is the foundation of everything in financial. You got to have cash.
You got to have cash.
Don't buy the new stuff. Just wait.
Well, trying to time the market again. You're trying to time the market over $150 a month in some cases. You'd be better off timing your bank statement and really combing through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, for me, right? I can survive. I could go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks whenever I want, but I'm not going to sit here and preach to everyone for a year about how to budget for things and not try things out for myself. Did I buy an expensive coffee maker? Yeah, it was $325. Does it make a damn good cup of coffee? It sure does.
I'm going to tell you what, man, that is not an expensive coffee maker.
So if you ask my
it goes from like $8,000 to like.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you could get wild ones.
You can do the ones that do all of it. Self-cleaning. I got a buddy that has that. I'm like, Jesus, man.
So I did a bunch of research on the one that I wanted, right? And then figured out like if I could cut $7 or $8 a day out of my budget or whatever, reduce it to $1.50. It's a win-win, right? Because then you're not inclined to order other food. Like, I mean, I'm not the physical specimen by any means, but forced me to do other things, right? So now, in my case, now I can spend more money losing golf balls in the woods.
Bingo.
But if it was the case of me buying a house or not buying a house, that's there. And I think the other piece that, you know, Nick and I have had this conversation with the customer the last couple of days. And this is something that we're seeing with insurance and the cost of insurance is obviously going up, right? I think one of the unknown costs or a benefit potentially too is car insurance is sometimes based on where your car is parked at.
That's correct.
So as we're seeing this outflow of people from Southern Cook County due to real estate taxes,
Yeah.
oh, well, my homeowner's insurance is going up, but hey, guess what? Your car insurance might be going down.
Right.
And we have a customer that we've, you know, it kind of went back and forth on moving out of Southern Cook County because his real estate taxes go up $2,000, you know, went up $2,000, which is a pretty big jump when they were 4,000 and now they're 6,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, well, I think my car insurance would probably go down too if I moved to Beecher.
Yeah.
Or I moved to Crown Point, something along those lines. And we look at it, and Nick works through the numbers and goes, well, hey, you got more equity than you even think you have in this property. So instead of looking at a large down payment in this case, right, because borrower's going from a 2.99% 30-year fix on that current house to probably something in the middle sixes, lower sixes on a $400,000 house. But if we look at his monthly cash flow, hey, let's knock out these two really bad auto loan payments you got that have rather high interest rates because, again, you're in the market when rates are 8 or 9% on a car. Mm-hmm. He's going from a $200,000 house to a $400,000 house, and his actual monthly outflow is going down $112 a month.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it just, again, having the conversation.
Starts with the conversation.
It starts with the conversation of, hey, I want to reset, but I don't want to just reset like to get like one step ahead.
He's moving to Beecher, and they got a winning basketball team. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Very
rumor has it.
Winners. They had a really good tool and die shop and a meat shop too. They're next to each other.
I don't know if they caught that one, but it's the running joke. But you know what you're saying though is have the conversation. We don't know where to begin. Just have the conversation. Just because someone calls you doesn't mean that you're running their credit and their credit's dropping 50 points, which it doesn't anyway. But doesn't mean that that's happening. Doesn't mean that we're forcing your house. Now, if you hit a button off Zillow, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get emails, phone calls, text messages nonstop from the agent, from Zillow themselves, and that doesn't stop for probably 2 years.
And then it restarts.
And then it restarts after maybe then they do a reset, and then they do it a couple months after.
You got to change your phone number.
You just get into this feedback loop that you're not getting quality advice, and we're all three of us here we work together frequently. We all align with the same advice of we'd rather have you do it right than do it twice.
Yeah.
We value the reputations of our businesses.
And we'd also love you to prefer us to your friends and family. So if we're not doing a good job by you, it's
going to cost us money.
Yeah, we're putting ourselves out there. We advertise ourselves, the three of us. I mean, people kind of know us, at least through that. We like to feel if someone's behind the screen, just sending you text messages, sending this and that, they probably don't have your best interests at heart.
They don't have the marketplace's interest in heart either, right? And here's a perfect example of this, and this is a pretty wild story, but 8 or 9 months ago, customer comes via Zillow to get pre-approved. Like, there's no way this deal can get done. I'm sorry. Here's a plan to get done, right? That customer came back to bite my group in the ass yesterday. You want to know how?
How?
Well, we couldn't get it done. Instead of taking the plan and the advice to make the right steps, that customer goes 3-4 different lenders. Someone says, "Oh yeah, we can get this done." There's no way this is going to blow up. I promise you. I've seen this way too many times, right?
Yep.
Well, that customer ended up, I found this out all yesterday, right? Buying a different customer's house who needed to sell their house to buy a house.
Okay.
All right.
One of your customers.
Yeah, one of my other customers.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, 3:00 yesterday, guess what?
Deal didn't go through.
Deal didn't go through.
Man, who could have foreseen that one, huh?
And I didn't even know that this person had written an offer on my other person's house until yesterday when I see an email thread going, this, you know what, lender, and this, I'm like,
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
We told you. You didn't listen.
And people don't like. Sometimes you just don't want to listen, right?
Sure.
But like this leads into some other conversations that we've had about being prepared to write an offer without a contingency on sale, doing things like Nick and I have done with the customer, and it's a mutual customer of Adams too, a recast versus a refinance. We have a bridge loan opportunity because it eliminates that variable. But the other thing is, understand, if I tell you, no, we can't do something, Nick says, hey, you know what? I can't sell your house for that. Adam says, hey, we can't do your insurance like that. That's us giving away, like, hey, we actually cannot convert your transaction into revenue for us.
Yeah.
It's not like we just want to say no to everything, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
we want to make sure that things perform, because when things like this happen, now we have an entire.
What a waste of time, waste of effort, waste of energy. I mean,
Well,
let
also affected-
alone us who got to make the money on these kind of deals, but also the buyer, the seller,
Everyone else you
involved
wrapped
the
in
deal.
because you
I
didn't
mean,
listen. You wrapped in. Now you got someone
Yep.
else who can't buy their house because your offer fell through.
Yep.
It's when people just don't listen, like my toddler.
That's they always want to negotiate. Like I think we were talking earlier this morning about, hey, I want to do this. Oh, I want can I play with the Switch?
Yeah.
The other day I was at my parents' house and my mom asked my son a question. I'm like, you can't ask him a question because it's going to be a negotiation with him.
Oh yeah.
But that's at the end of the day, I think it's just the quality of people. You get maybe what you pay for, but you also, when you have people that are constantly helping the community and they're in the community and present in the community, those people actually care about you and want to lead you down the right path, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll go. A situation that just happened with me is that someone that somewhat kind of knows me, enough to possibly maybe give me a call to do a real estate deal, doesn't know how it all works, this and that. So they ended up pushing a button on Zillow, going with some random agent and showing my listing. Lo and behold, they didn't, they had no idea. The customer didn't know what they were doing, so I can't blame the customer on this. But I'm just giving people an example here. So we get a deal done on the house. Their agent never schedules an inspection.
Oh boy.
5 days, 7 days pass up. Hey, can we do that inspection? My seller is not now allowing that inspection to happen because guess what? In Illinois, you got 5 business days. Typically, it's all about negotiation, but in the contract, it states 5 business days to do your inspection. Indiana, we're usually 7, doesn't have to be business days, 7 regular days.
From
7 to 10
contract,
days.
you have 5.
Contract, yep.
Okay.
Both states are pretty much, you got 7 days. Illinois,
Okay.
they just call it business days. Indiana usually says 7 days. That's typical. It's all
Okay.
negotiation. So there's nothing wrong with this house that we believe, but you never know, right? I mean, these inspectors and Adam, from your prior real estate deals, they'll find anything.
Yeah.
And, that's the difference between, we just talked about people don't have money in their pocket. Well, that's a $500 fix. That's a $1,000 fix. Well, now guess whose responsibility that is? The buyer who's putting the down payment down, who's paying his own closing costs. Buying a house, he doesn't know
he's going to walk in.
happen.
He's walking in blind.
The seller maybe, I don't know, the seller maybe would have gave him a $500 credit or $1,000 credit if there was something wrong.
Right.
Because they're making the money off the sale. They're like, hey, let's just get the deal done. You know what I mean? So who knows? But
So a hidden cost
That's
of going with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. There's so many hidden costs.
who doesn't, and doesn't care. You know what I mean? It gets called off Zillow because they pay a monthly fee on Zillow to be a part of the, to try to build up their business. And whether they just forgot about it, they didn't care about the customer enough. They got a phone call from someone they didn't know. They got a free deal.
There it is.
And it's funny, like that conversation comes up too, because I had a conversation last night with our other frequent guest, Tony Minadero, who said the problem has become that we have forgot that it's a real estate contract, not a real estate suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not just a handshake and,
legal.
let's just
This
all
is
get
an
it done together. Let's think
enforceable-
I know.
This is an enforceable contract. Like
Yep.
you're signing for
legal
lots of money.
binding contract.
There's not suggestions or recommendations. There's plain as day English in there to protect everybody throughout the transaction.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're all here to protect people.
And as you know, in Illinois, the seller side has an attorney, the buyer side has an attorney. So, they're looking at me. Well, what can we do? We can't do anything. The seller, you guys didn't do that. That's on you guys. The seller is not allowing it, and their attorney is giving them advice not to allow it, as an attorney should do in this situation. Because we work for the sellers, you work for the buyers, regardless who they are at the end of the day. And we have to answer to them and what they want to do. So, and look out for their best interest.
Amen.
Best interest, baby. which is September 7th. We need to be in Grant Park.
You need to be in
Grant
Grant
Park,
Park,
baby.
Illinois. If you're never at Grant Park, Illinois, coming out September 7th. That'll be the only time you need to get out there, but it'll be a good time. Full festival going on, everything. It's going to be a good time.
I think we'll hopefully get a break of this weather a little bit here.
Oh my God.
The
it's
corn,
it shouldn't
corn
be-
sweats.
it
I've heard of
shouldn't
meat
be-
sweats.
yeah.
We got corn sweat
Yeah,
going
corn
on right
sweat.
now. So reset September 7th.
Yep.
Nick, what else? Anything else popping in the Oosting group world?
Well, you guys watch Hard Knocks lately? Did you watch the Hard Knocks last night?
No.
Either one of you guys?
I
not
did
yet.
not.
I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning just to watch it.
Was it good?
It was decent, yeah. I haven't watched Hard Knocks in any other time before, but then now they got the Bears on and I got a little bit of interest in it.
I said it earlier. It's whitewash, man. Like it is so canned. It
Well,
used
they
to be
were-
raw.
It was a little raw. This episode was.
All right, I'm gonna
They were
look at
cutting. They were cutting some people.
It's cut time?
It was cut day. Yep.
Cut down time.
Yep.
Yeah,
They had
reset.
Hitting the reset,
Yep.
cutting your budget, right? Like we have to get to the salary cap. We have to
Yep.
get to the player limit. Sometimes you just got to make those tough decisions. And
Yeah.
that's what it really comes down to. I think I saw you maybe had a couple Bears practices or something.
Yeah,
too.
so we got a video dropping, which should be tomorrow, Thursday. We did a little teaser yesterday on our Bears thing that we got going on. So we're
Cool.
it's gonna be a cool thing. So I can't wait for it. But we're dropping it tomorrow. You guys will all know. So
All right. So follow you at Realtor Nick Oosting.
Realtor Nick Oosting. Yep.
People
That's
can
our
get you at
Facebook
the
page.
people can get you at the almost the same phone number as me.
Yep. 630-284-9624.
Adam is my agent.
Yep.
He's got things going on. His group cares. Nick's group cares. Our group cares. But we don't tell these things to scare people or make people nervous. We're there to guide you through things and make sure that you're making the right decision for you and your family. But again, it's fantasy football season. The GM making your budgets, understanding your salary cap, understanding where you could find $150 in your budget so you can buy a $400,000 house versus waiting for this perceived rate drop that has already been baked into the market a little bit. If you really want to follow mortgage interest rates, tomorrow jobless claims number comes out. Friday, PCE comes out month over month, year over year. We'll see where that all happens. You can't really trust the jobless claim numbers anymore anyways, but
True.
that's a conversation for a different day, different time. Anything else?
What's the worst NFL franchise besides Bears? Or worst NFL run franchise you can think of right now? And the Bears, I actually think, are doing pretty good, by the way.
The Washington Command. Well, not anymore. Now they have a different Washington.
Just a team that's never won, never done nothing.
Cleveland
you know.
Browns.
Cleveland
Yeah, the
Browns. There you
Browns
go.
really
You
haven't
either
done
you
anything.
work with the Cleveland Browns or you work with the New England Patriots, right?
Bingo.
That's the difference.
The old the
old
Tom
Patriots.
Brady
Tom Brady led
the Tom
Patriots.
Brady, yeah.
Yes.
Not the Bill Belichick dating the 19-year-old cheerleader Patriots.
No. Yes. Or the Kansas? Can we say the Kansas City Chiefs now? Because they're running a great
Yeah,
organization.
they got a
over there.
dynasty.
It is a dynasty.
Yes, maybe the best quarterback of all time, but we'll see
All right. Well, we will catch you guys all next week.
next week.
Anything else?
Guys,
That's it.
Cool.
Good
Reset.
stuff.
It's been a slice. The reset, September 7th.